Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 1990's Represent. We're starting out our fifth cycle of 1999 with an album. In this episode, we're talking about 2001 by Dr. Dre, or the Chronic 2001, kind of whatever you want to call it. But yeah, definitely known as Chronic 2001. But I believe the album, when it was released, was just called 2001. There's a reason behind that. We'll get to that a little bit later in the video. I have some notes about that. But I remember picking this up back basically when it first came out. Apparently, this is also just Dre's second studio album. Because I remember it was something that came out in 1996 called Chronic: The Aftermath. So I kind of thought that was his second studio album, but apparently that's more of a compilation album. So this one here, 2001, is his actual technically his second studio album. But picked this up back when it came out. Really enjoyed it. It's a great hip hop album. I think I slightly prefer the first Chronic album from 1992 just a little bit more than this one. But this one's great. It's got a lot of guest rappers on there, like Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Exhibit, Nate Dogg, and so on. It's got the classic line from Nate Dogg, which is like "Smoke weed every day." That's on this album as well. But yeah, this is just a great album from him. I have a note, or from Dre. I mean, not, well, Nate Dogg's on it too, but have some notes here about it. We'll get to those, and then we'll get to our track list and all that. So let me just grab my notebook here, flip to the page. There we go. So, Chronic 2001, or simply just 2001, first released November 16th, 1999. Let's see here. I remember hearing about this album, of all places, from, I don't know, I think this website is probably long gone by now, but it was a Cheat Planet. So basically a video game cheat code website. I had some cool friends that I was like chatting with there through, like, I think it was like through like AOL Instant Messenger, maybe ICQ. And one of them was telling me about this new Dr. Dre album, and I was like, "What? There's a new Dr. Dre album out?" And then I went out, like, the next time I was actually like near Sam Goody, and picked it up. And there was a great recommendation from them. But yeah, Cheat Planet was just a great website for cheat codes, but it was the forums, like their web forums, were also amazing. So I picked this up when it came out. Apparently, they started working on this, or getting the ball rolling, in 1995. And originally, the title for the album was going to be Chronic 2: A New World Odor. Papa's got a brand new funk. That album ended up getting scrapped due to Dr. Dre leaving Death Row Records. So I think they formed Aftermath after leaving Death Row, and it became a whole kind of like trademark issue and rights issue between, I think it was Priority Records, which was now I think the distributor for Death Row, and they actually had the trademark on the Chronic. So I think, and then it was like something like Suge Knight or Suge Knight. I keep saying Suge. Suge Knight had a thing where I think like they realized by like they got some kind of like noticed that Dr. Dre was going to release another Chronic album, like through like they just found out about it. So I think they were going to then name their album Chronic 2000, something completely different that was not necessarily related to Dr. Dre, but they were going to call it Chronic 2000. And so then when Dre found out that they were going to release this version of the Chronic, he basically took legal action against Priority Records, and eventually they came to an agreement where they agreed both sides could use the Chronic name. So Dr. Dre could use the Chronic name for his album, while Priority Records was going to be able to use the Chronic name for their album. And it was something like basically like, we'll just, each side will use what they want, and then the fans can decide which version they like better, or whatever it was. So let me see what we got here. So yeah, so they basically agreed to let both sides use it. They were doing, I think they were getting ready to promote the release of the album, and then Priority Records changed their mind. They basically pulled a Darth Vader and said, I'm altering the deal, and then basically said that they that Dr. Dre was now not going to be able to use the name Chronic in his album. So what Dr. Dre did was that they just dropped the Chronic name from the album. They called it 2001, and they put the leaf next to it to indicate that it is basically Chronic 2001. So that's why it was just released as 2001, because like they both agreed that both sides could use it, and then Priority Records kind of just changed their mind right when Dr. Dre was getting ready to promote the album and get it released. So and fans just call it Chronic 2001 anyway, even though like it's 2001. So basically, they did that. Dr. Dre, I believe, I have a quote here from Dr. Dre. I'm going to pull up in just a second. But felt he needed to prove himself again after basically this is his second studio album, and it was like 7 years after the original Chronic album. Like I said, I guess they're not counting the aftermath because that's more of a compilation. But I have a quote here from Dr. Dre I'm going to pull up about this album here. Let me see. This is the quote. Yeah, so basically he felt he needed to prove himself again because he hadn't done an album in like 7 years. So a quote from Dre was, quote, for the last couple years, there's been a lot of talk out on the streets about whether or not I can still hold my own, whether or not I'm still good at producing. That was the ultimate motivation for me. Magazines, word of mouth, and rap tabloids were saying, I don't have it anymore. What more do I need to do? How many platinum records have I made? Okay, here's the album. Now, what do you have to say? So basically, I kind of think a lot of that kind of is like mentioned in, I think it's like Forgot About Dre maybe is a song. There's a couple songs where it's, yeah, Forget About Dre or Still D.R.E. It could relate, those songs could relate to him, having, maybe not having doubts himself, but hearing a lot of other people in the industry having doubts that that he still has it, kind of thing. So that quote was related to that. And there's another quote from him about how kind of he wanted the album to kind of play out like a movie. So let me just roll up to this next quote here. All right. So another quote from Dr. Dre is says, quote, the album was first intended to be released like a mixtape. So that's kind of like the basis. And Dr. Dre then was quoted as saying, quote, everything you hear is planned. It's a movie with different varieties of situations. So you've got build-ups, touching moments, aggressive moments. You've got a pause for porno. It's not everything a movie needs. Speaking of how he got everything a movie needs. So basically there's like bits and pieces of like stories that get put up. And then another quote, it says, quote, I'm not trying to send out any messages or anything with this record. I just basically do hardcore hip-hop and try to add a bunch of dark comedy here and there. A lot of times the media just takes this and tries to make it into something else when it's all entertainment first. You shouldn't take it too seriously. So kind of like a lot of the album, like a lot of the lyrics got like drew criticism for it being, like violent or like suggestive and things like that. Which, if you know anything about Dr. Dre, of course the lyrics are going to be like that. Just look at the previous album kind of thing. It came out to, when do you get to the reviews now? It came out to very good reviews. Like I said, I still think the 1992 album is slightly better, but this came out to great reviews. So like AllMusic has it at a 4 out of 5. Encyclopedia Popular Music has it at a 4 out of 5. An A minus from Entertainment Weekly. The LA Times gave it a 3.5 out of 4. Q has it at a 3 out of 5, while Rolling Stone Album Guide has it at a 4 out of 5. The Source gives it a 4.5 out of 5. And then Double XL gives it a 5 out of 5. Before we get to our track listing, we're going to mention that about like a year, maybe less than a year, it was like the following summer, was the Up in Smoke tour. And I went to that with my cousins, and that was just an excellent show. I think the only downside was that Ice Cube wasn't there. So I think Ice Cube was part of that tour, but I think Ice Cube was sick or something like that during the show that we went to. But it had obviously Dr. Dre, had Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Exhibit, Warren G had like a small set as well. Yeah, so just an overall great hip hop concert. They had like a huge skull on the stage that would like breathe fire, and even though we were like halfway back. It was like in an amphitheater. We were like halfway back. You could still feel the heat coming off of that fire-breathing skull. And I have the DVD to the concert somewhere. So they released like about like a slightly after that tour happened, they did a DVD release of the tour. I forget what show was recorded for it, but it wasn't the one that we went to. But that was just a great rap concert. And it was outdoors. It was like a nice like a perfect evening for like a great show. And we had like box seats. Like they were like kind of like in like amphitheater, but they were kind of like boxed in areas. So that was really cool. We're now going to get into our track listing on this album. We just pull that up. So the album comes in. Let's see what we got here. It's 22 tracks. Comes in about an hour and 8 minutes. So track one is Lolo, the Lolo intro, which I think has like their version of the what is it, the THX sound check kind of thing, and that the that track features Exhibit and Trainee. Track two is The Watcher. Track three is FU, which features Evan the Dude and Snoop Dogg. Track four is Still D.R.E. That's featuring Snoop Dogg. Track five is Big's Ego, which features looks like Hitman. Track six is Explosive, which features Hitman, Corrupt, Nate Dogg, and 6'2". Track seven is What's the Difference, which features both Eminem and Exhibit. Track eight is Bar One, which is a skit that features Eddie Griffin. Let's see, Ms. Rock and Tracy Nelson. After that, we have Light Speed. I think it's like Light Speed, Laser Dojo through the Galaxy. I think that's that one. Track 10 is Forgot About Dre, which features Eminem. That's a classic one there. Track 11 is The Next Episode, which features Snoop Dogg. And I think that's the one where it's got the smoke weed every day thing at the end. I think that's the next episode. After that, track 12 is Let's Get High, which features Hitman, Corrupt, and Mo Rock, or Mo Rock, I believe. Track 13 is, I'm not even going to say the name of this because it's a B something or other. I can't even say it, but it features Snoop Dogg, 6'2", and looks like, and Hitman. Track 14 is The Car Bomb, which is a skit that features Mailman and Cheris Henry. Track 15 is Murder Inc. featuring Hitman and Ms. Rock again, or Mohawk. Track 16 is Uneducation, which features Eddie Griffin. I think that's like more like a skit. Not a skit, but it's like a spoken word kind of thing. Track 17 is Some LA Players featuring Hitman, The Fairy Exhibit, Nocturnal, Time Bomb, King T, MC Red, and Cocaine. Track 18 is Pause for Porno, which is a skit featuring Jake Steed. Track 19 is Housewife featuring Corrupted Hitman. Then we get into track 20, which is Act Right featuring Hitman. Track 21 is Bang Bang featuring Nocturnal and Hitman. That's where it's like bang 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 everywhere I go. Out the time to hear is bang 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 bang. And then final track is The Message and / outro featuring Mary J. Blige and I think Rel is. You see how if that's pronounced? Yeah, and Rel. So again, 22 tracks. Track about like an hour and 8 minutes. And if you want to Google the track list, you can see what because I definitely can't say that on this video. But this is just an excellent hip hop album. Like it's kind of like a Good Things Take Time kind of thing, because it was like he released The Chronic in 1992, and then this one in 1999. And in between there was the Aftermath compilation or mix. It wasn't a mixtape; it was a compilation album. But The Chronic 2001 is just excellent. I would highly recommend checking it out. It's a great album from Dr. Dre. It just features a bunch of other iconic rappers like I said, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Exhibit, and so on. Just a great album and a good way to kick off our fifth cycle of 1999. That's going to do it for this episode, or just chill to the next episode, I guess, as Nate Dogg would say. But we are going to be, in a few days, doing a movie from 1999 before jumping into a video or computer game from 1999 before we start over again with our sixth cycle of 1990 shortly after. But again, that's going to do it for now. So remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one.